What's up, guys? Welcome back. Wrestler of the Week, Franco, Annie. We're here joined today by the King Cobra Exotic.
What's going on, guys?
First thing we usually ask, just to get, I guess, the ball rolling, it's called ice break questions. You can answer them quickly. You can answer them.
Take your time.
Take your time on answering them, but it's just so it breaks some ice. Favorite song for the gym?
Oof, right now I'd say it is. It's actually from a new album. If you guys follow me on socials, I'm pretty sure you guys will figure out I'm a huge Russ fan. Like, that's all I listen to. I want to say it's right now. It's Bucket Hat Low by Russ and Papoose. Right now, that goes pretty hard.
Weirdest thing you collect? Ooh.
Weirdest thing I collect? I don't think anything I collect is weird. Well, maybe it is. I want to say maybe hats. I have way too many hats, and half of them I don't even touch. I would say that's pretty weird now. Yeah, now I think about it.
You're like, damn.
I used to. Damn. Like, I don't wear them anymore, so I stopped. Favorite wrestler growing up?
Edge. Easy.
You and him got something in common.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite wrestlers. I cry whenever he retired.
Oh, I did too. And I was only like 11, and I was crying in my bedroom. I was like, oh, because I was actually at WrestleMania 27. So I didn't know that was gonna be his last match. So then that caught me off guard. I was like, oh crap, I'm sad now. Yeah, I was really bad.
Popcorn and everything, crying. Oh my God.
I think I was 15. I was just there tearing up, and it was so depressing. I think after that, I almost stopped watching wrestling, but The Miz kept me in it because I was a big Miz fan as well, and he just won the title.
Yeah.
Since it's the start of a new year, what's your New Year's resolution?
If I'm being honest with you, I've never been too big a fan of New Year's resolutions. Now, this is just my personal outtake on it. I feel like sometimes people wait till the new year, and then I feel like when people wait till the start of the new year, I feel like they basically are procrastinating, which in the end is kind of already a bad start. But if I were to, I guess, for the sake of the question, come up with one, I would say I definitely just want to be a better wrestler this year. I would say my New Year's resolution would be to up my game in any way possible, work for more promotions, just to become more healthy, even, I guess you could say. I feel like, mental health and physical health, those are very important things, especially in wrestling. And, there's times where I feel like I kind of let that go a little bit, but definitely just to be healthier and to have my best wrestling year yet, I would say.
Yeah, that works.
With that, what's your favorite quote you live by?
Ooh, favorite quote I live by. I think I have that actually on my Instagram. I think that should be on my Instagram. Okay, yes. The quote I live by, I don't remember who it's by, but the quote I live by is, when you know your worth, no one can make you feel worthless. And I like that quote, because I feel like you do have to realize your self-worth at some point, and this even goes for, this goes in everything, relationships, life, wrestling. When you get to a point, just like I did, I felt like working for free, given the specific circumstances. Sometimes it's okay to do it. Like, I feel like if I'm getting a really good opportunity, I'll go ahead and, I'll do it. Like, personally, it's never been about money for me. So I work for pretty reasonable, really reasonable prices, actually. But, I just feel like I mostly, whenever I put that up on my Instagram, it really came down to me just going through a struggle of failing to realize my self-worth. And because of that, I allowed myself to be treated poorly by a lot of people, whether it was in wrestling or, in just life, and I feel like that quote has helped me to, really take a look at my circle, take a look at who I allow in my life, and, just make better choices, just to know, just for me to know that, hey, you're worth a lot more than this, so treat yourself like the way you deserve to be treated. That's why I like being called the King Cobra, because I feel like it's a king mentality type thing. It's really weird, but it's I would say that's my quote.
Know your worth. Know your worth. Since we just talk about like health and stuff, this is about a bad part about health. What's your favorite donut?
Man, okay, I love donuts. I would say chocolate. It's like a normal chocolate donut, not the glazed kind. By glazed, I mean it's like I've tried one that's like a glazed donut with like the chocolate frosting on it, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. Like I like just a generic chocolate donut. Like I like just a chocolate frosting on the donut. Yeah, that's my favorite go-to.
This is the last question for Ice Break Questions. It's either gonna make the interview or break the interview. We're either gonna stop it right here or keep it going. From Minnesota, but you claim Uvalde. So what's your favorite, In-N-Out or Whataburger?
Oof. Dang. I would like to. I haven't tried In-N-Out enough, but I'm definitely gonna say Whataburger. I'm just always been loyal and true to Whataburger. I have one here in town in Uvalde, so right now it's Whataburger for me.
That's the correct answer for any true Texan.
All right, cool. Continue this interview then.
We're clear to go.
What's your go-to meal for Whataburger?
Oof, this is kind of embarrassing because I eat a lot.
Go ahead.
In all honesty, especially after shows, AWP shows, I always go to Whataburger. I would like to get a triple meat Whataburger with no onions, no mustard, substitute, add mayo. And I think it usually has already lettuce and tomatoes, but other than that, I like to make it a large meal with a Coke Zero. And if I feel like I had an amazing match, I'll even add a cinnamon roll to reward myself.
That's we interviewed ASF and he said his go-to is a triple meat. I'm like, damn, dude, you're small, but
he's small, but apparently he can eat. That's awesome. I didn't even know that.
This is more of a bonus question. I just want to throw out there. I don't really know you fully. Your gimmick's the King Cobra exotic. Name 3 wrestlers you would describe your gimmick as.
Ooh, that's kind of tough because I like to think that with my gimmick, it's very different. It's definitely original. But I would say, I guess, to kind of somewhat answer the question, I would say like people I look up to in a way that I feel like in a way kind of influence my character would definitely be Edge, definitely Randy Orton, and honestly, I would say even a little bit of, in a way, a little bit of John Cena, I guess. That's kind of weird to say, but I feel like the reason why I would say John Cena is because I feel like with my character, and here's the thing, I don't even like to think of it as a character. I've always looked at it as the best pro wrestlers and the best gimmicks are usually themselves, just amplified by like 1,000. Because at the end of the day, in pro wrestling, you got to believe in who you are. You got to believe in what you're doing for people to believe in what you're doing in the ring and what you're trying to relay as a message, And I feel like whenever I'm in the ring, I'm being me, It's just like, so yeah, I mean, I would say that that's it, And I feel like John Cena always did that, He was just always himself, always hustle, loyalty, respect, and, never give up. That was just his thing. So I would say those 3.
Yeah, John Cena also does like he did 300 Make-A-Wishes or 300 plus Make-A-Wishes, and you do a lot for the kids. You give back to the kids and everything. So that's another John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, I always do my best. I'm definitely not on the level of John Cena popularity wise, but I've always found it very important to be able to give back, in any way that I can. I've been asked to go to birthday parties and been offered money to do it, and I don't take the money. I'm just like, hey, like if I had this opportunity as a kid and this happened for me, I know that what I'm doing out there, it's some might find it cliche to think or to say, but I really think that especially it's being in your childhood is a very important time. And I feel like us as pro wrestlers, we have a lot of opportunities to really, make a difference in their life, really inspire them and really help them to motivate them to, chase their dreams because, unfortunately, I really didn't have that much of support early on, especially in my pro wrestling career. But, I feel like if we need to be a positive voice and a positive influence, for the next generation. I feel like it's just important. It's an important thing to do. So I do whatever I can.
I guess to get started, for people who don't know you, you were trained by the Black and Brave Academy, which is Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave.
Yes, sir. And Matt Mayday.
Matt Mayday. How'd that start?
So it was actually a really weird way to start. So obviously when I grew up, I grew up loving wrestling, I grew up during the Ruthless Aggression era. I caught a little bit of the Attitude Era because I was born in '98, but I was more the Ruthless Aggression era that I kind of watched growing up. But as I went into middle school and high school, I didn't have the channels to watch WWE, so I really only watched the big pay-per-views whenever the network came out. So I kind of was away from it for a little bit, but I still, my love was still there for wrestling. I just wasn't able to watch it at the time. But after I graduated high school, I was working one day out in the fields, in the oil fields. And I remember getting an email saying, Hell in a Cell is coming to San Antonio. And I was like, well, let's go. I haven't gone to one in forever. So I bought tickets and I actually just started watching it on Hulu because I think I had the Hulu subscription and I just realized that they have it on, that Hulu actually had the channel or had the shows. So I started watching it and getting back into it before Hell in a Cell. So I went to Hell in a Cell, and while I was there, there was just something about the show, right? So keep in mind, so during high school, I think it was my sophomore year, I got into fitness, right? And I got into fitness because I was about 200 pounds, and it wasn't a healthy 200 pounds. I was still fairly young, about 200 pounds, and I was like, man, I'm just not happy. I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I was just like, I'm not happy. So I got into the gym and I cut down to 150 and then obviously started bulking up with muscle. But so whenever I went to Hell in a Cell, I thought about it and just hearing the crowd, I just heard the crowd, how excited everyone was being in the environment, watching the wrestling. Man, that's when I fell back in love with pro wrestling to like the fullest extent. And it was that day actually where I thought about it. I was like, this has everything that I love all combined into one, because I also do like gaming, YouTube and Twitch streams. I do those things. Now when I have the time, I'll do it. But I love those things. So it combined entertainment because I love entertaining people. It combined fitness because you have to hit the gym and stuff, so that way you can put on these 30-minute matches, so that way you can do these things. And it also mixed wrestling, and when I feel like at that point it's a no-brainer, it makes everything you love all in one, so why not? So it was that day when I realized, okay, I should really try this. So I did some research and I'm surprised. I really didn't even think to look here in Texas. I think I just somehow just got wind. I don't remember exactly how I stumbled upon Black and Brave. I think I looked up wrestling schools, or I think Seth Rollins may have posted something about it. And that's when, I was just like, no brainer. I want to be taught by Seth. He's in WWE. Like that's a no brainer. Just do that. So yeah, it was just after Hell in a Cell, I just ended up looking into wrestling schools and I chose Black and Brave.
You had to move over there. It's in Illinois, Davenport, I think.
It's in Davenport, Iowa.
Illinois. Yeah, you had to move over there for like what, 6 months or so for training?
It's only 3 months. It's only a 3-month program over there. So,
oh, that's pretty cool. I know Seth Rollins obviously probably wasn't there every single day, but whenever he was there, how was it like training with him?
For the most part, surprisingly, for all of our trainings, he was pretty much there. There was a few times he wasn't there, but it really kind of just depended on whether they were doing tours. Because at the time, I think it was 2019, so we didn't have, you know, the whole COVID thing going on. But the only times he wasn't there was during the days that he was in England or doing some stuff for WWE that they might have needed him for. But for the most part, training with him was pretty cool. We were mostly working with Merrick and Matt the most, Matt Mayday and Merrick. We were mostly working with them the most. But when it came to like the wrestling stuff and when it came to the CrossFits, the workouts, he was definitely like a lot of help, you know. I would say as of late too, it's been just really cool. And I feel like, you know, working with him is great, even though he might not have, at least with my class, he didn't have as much hands-on as I was expecting. He's still great because even to this day, I reach out to him, I send him my matches and he reviews them. I remember the last time I had him review one of my matches, it was actually right before Crown Jewel. I sent it to him a few hours before Crown Jewel started. And he actually, before his match, he took the time to watch it, send me some critiques, and it was really awesome, you know. But yeah, I would say that that's how it was working with Seth, you know, really cool dude. Definitely hard on you, but I feel like he needs to be, you know. He's not going to put his stamp of approval on just anybody, you know. He wants to make sure you know what you're doing when you get out on the scene.
Pretty cool. How many people were in your class?
I want to say we started with around 20. I want to say we started with around 20 because we started with a pretty decent sized class, but we only ended with about 10. A lot of people dropped out for different reasons. Some had to move back because of, you know, family emergencies, or some people, they just didn't make it, you know. One of my roommates actually over there in Illinois, his name was Mitchell. He wasn't able to finish it out because of how badly it was affecting his body. You know, it was definitely just a toll on him. And I feel bad, you know, because he was a big dude. So I was like, dang, he'd be a really awesome athlete. He'd be a great wrestler. But, you know, everyone had to drop out for different reasons, you know, the people that did. But we started with about 20, ended with about 10. You know, we didn't end with a very big class, class 15, but nevertheless, you know, it was a great experience, you know. Definitely hope to work a lot of those guys one day, everyone that graduated.
Have you worked with any so far?
Unfortunately, no. I haven't. I think out of the 10 that graduated, I can only honestly say that I've seen 2 total actually continuing to do it after graduating. And that would be me and Campbell Myers. I know Kyle, and Devin. I know they were doing tag team a little bit after, but I haven't heard anything from them since then. So there's not really many that continued the process, from what I see at least.
I know we know another person that's actually trained at that same school, and he's in Houston, right?
Dallas.
Dallas. Dante Leon. We've seen him wrestle a couple times. Really, really good guy in Dallas, Houston, local wrestling. Also part of GCW.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever want to face him since he's trained at the same school that you've trained at?
Of course, yeah. I've known about Dante and how crazy good he is since I was actually training, because actually whenever I was training, he was doing shows up in Iowa. I think he didn't come down to Texas. He didn't come back down to Texas until after I had just started. If I'm not mistaken, I may have been either his first or second show actually here in Texas. We actually booked him on a show we did back in Houston a while back. When we first started, it was Battle for the Crown. He had a match with Jason Knight. I think we were one of the first few to actually book him. But yeah, of course, I would love to face Dante. Amazing athlete. You know, he's just insane. He's absolutely insane. I would never have the guts to do what he does. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to break my neck. I ain't risking it.
Since we're on the topic of wrestling, you are actually a promoter yourself. You promote
AWP, Atlas Wrestling Promotion.
How is that like, juggling the life of being a wrestler and being a promoter also?
It's tough. It is extremely tough. Luckily, I'm not the only one involved with AWP. We actually do have 4 other shareholders involved, and each one handles different things, it's definitely tough, especially considering right now right now we're in the process of trying to get everyone to learn different things. So that way it takes a load off of, my back and a lot of the guys here, but it's tough, man. I mean, having to, edit the shows, having to be in contact with the designers to make sure we're getting these flyers done, having to put together cards, having to do all of these different things. And then obviously on show days too, I feel like that's the most hectic because I'm trying to make sure that all of the files are on the hard drive, all of the music, all of the, Titantrons, everything, it's just hectic, man. It's just really hard to say, it's definitely a tough process. It's insane, but I've managed to do it well. And it's not just because of me, though. I have an amazing support system that I can trust. All I have to do is just say, hey, this is the match order. And other than that, it's extremely hard to describe. It's just like right now in my head, I'm like, it's just crazy. Like right now, my mind's having a freaking war. Like, it's just an insane process. It's tough. It's time consuming. It definitely, I would say at times, is very stressful. But in the end of the day, what I love about it is we brought something to a town I feel like needed something. I live in a town where it's not extremely small, but it's definitely one of those towns where you need more to do. We used to have a bowling alley. We don't have a bowling alley anymore. We used to have we do have a movie theater, but it's not the best movie theater. Other than that, all you really have is a bunch of fast food restaurants and Walmart, So when we started AWP, our mindset was, hey, we have a good fan base here. Like I would walk around and I would see people wearing wrestling shirts. So I was like thinking about it one day. I was like, I love this town, and I feel like there's a market here. I love wrestling. I know a decent amount about business. So why not? So we just took a shot, and I feel like we've been doing something great here. We've built a great fan base. Our fan base is amazing in every which way. I feel like at AWP we bring something new to the table. I'm pretty sure you guys, I feel like when it comes to independent wrestling, I've noticed, and this is just from my personal experiences with where I first started doing shows, there's a lot of promotions out there. There's some that do have storytelling to an extent, which I feel like is very important. But there's also a lot that, don't really have any storytelling. I like to think that there's definitely an audience for everyone. Everyone likes different things. I myself, I love bangers, matches that are just there to be bangers. But with AWP, I thought, why not bring something brand new to the table, something that really no one's ever thought about doing, something that is unheard of. So when I put together AWP, our biggest thing was to captivate and to really bring in the fans, give them stories, long-term storytelling. Right now, our biggest story right now is the House of Wolves versus myself, Alex Arsenal, and, the rest of AWP. Right now the House of Wolves is taking over AWP, and this story has been going on for over a year now. This is a really long story that brings people in, and because of our great storytelling, the fans already know who to cheer, who to boo. Like they don't have to wait to see who it is. They don't have to wait for the heels to go do their thing. They just know as soon as they hear that music, they hate them. They're like, I hate these guys, and I love that. I feel like with AWP, we've done a great job of doing stories. And, on top of that, we do go above and beyond and try to do like intro videos, things like that, things to really make it an experience rather than just any ordinary wrestling show. So, although it's stressful having to put together all those things, it's very rewarding, I would say.
I like that.
With AWP, who are some guys that we should be on the lookout for? And who are some guys you want to bring in to work for AWP?
There's a lot of guys in AWP, I would say. everyone needs to be on the lookout for. A lot of definitely underrated guys as well. I would say, off the top of my head, I would say one of the first people is Chip Garrison. Very great worker. I'm surprised I don't see him in more shows. I would say Chip Garrison. Pretty Young Things, of course. They're a tag team out of Louisiana. They will entertain a crowd, So that's why I'm surprised. I'm like, wow, with how easily they captivate this AWP audience. I'm surprised they don't have more work. Danny O'Ryan, I would say he's another one. Very young, good talent out of Austin. Who else? In our champions, Eric Shadows and Nathan Bradley. I would say these are talents that Nathan Bradley, I know he's pretty well known, but I definitely think he deserves a lot more bookings than what he gets. But Eric Shadows too, him being in the business as long as he has, and he really only works our shows, which surprises me because he's insane. But outside of those guys, I truly believe that everyone we bring in for a reason, and it's because we feel like there's something there that we can definitely build, at least in our promotion, and we definitely want to help them out as much as possible. So anyone on the AWP roster, I would say just keep an eye out for.
Nice.
Anyone you want to start working with that you haven't booked?
A lot of places, actually. I would say, just to name a few, obviously one day it would be great to work a Loco show because those shows are insane. I've been to a few, AWP sponsored a few. But outside of Loco, I want to say obviously like VIP, Lucha Brutal, any and everywhere, man. I do want to travel. It's one of those things that I feel like that just comes with the nature of the beast. I want to travel. I want to get my name out. I want to build my brand as much as possible. And obviously the few that are pretty self-explanatory would be, I would say, AEW and WWE, definitely would be cool to get work there. But I would say those are the few in Texas I would like to work for.
We've been to one Loco show, and they really mean it in the name. It gets loco. Like
it's insane.
Crazy.
It is absolutely insane. And that's what I love about Loco, that's what I was saying too. There's a different audience for different types of fans. And I'm a fan of wrestling, so I love everything, but with Loco, it's definitely a special environment. I feel like I'm very proud of Jaime, good friend of mine. He's put together something that honestly, I feel like no one saw coming, They're working with GCW, one of the biggest promotions in the US, in the country, in the world, it's absolutely insane. I'm super proud of him. The shows are awesome. Love Loco.
And to have some of the wrestlers that are featured in Loco, like Ninja Mac, Dante, you got ASF now a part of the GCW fam. It's like
Ninja Mac's going to Noah.
Yeah, Ninja Mac's going to Noah. He finally
saw that.
I was so happy, and I'm like, man, it's just crazy stuff. Talking about promotions, we do have WrestleFest coming up, which is on the 15th of January. You're actually set up for your promotion in a fatal 4-way, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be a fatal 4-way for the AWP Championship. It's going to be Eric Shadows defending his title against myself, Alex Arsenal, and Danny O'Ryan. That's gonna be a fun match, definitely. Whenever I heard about WrestleFest, I definitely wanted to, expand AWP. So I thought it was a very appropriate to, jump in on this opportunity. So it's gonna be fun to bring AWP, match of AWP's caliber to San Antonio. It's gonna be fun.
We're actually excited. A full day of just nothing but wrestling.
And it's free. And it's free.
Free? Come on. You got men's upstairs. You got the wrestling ring at the bottom. Man, I'm ecstatic for that day.
You got any plans to jump off the second floor?
I don't know about that. But who knows? Maybe we'll see an air Cobra.
See him flying through the air, man.
Before we get off, the one other question I want to ask you was, or we have 2 more questions, actually.
2 more questions.
How did the King Cobra come to be?
Man, This actually goes back to the roots. So actually, as I stated earlier, I do have a YouTube channel. And my running name or my alias was always Exotic, right? So whenever I came up with the channel Exotic, obviously the definition of exotic, when you look into it, it's actually something that's different, something that's not necessarily foreign to where you're from. And I thought about a bunch of different animals, and I didn't want to pick like a panda or something. I felt like that kind of just kills it, like exotic sounds cool, it sounds awesome. So I chose a king cobra because you really don't see king cobras here in the US. Like, they're pretty foreign. That's different, like that's a different type of snake. So I chose a king cobra to be the logo, and I'm pretty sure it's there somewhere on my YouTube. But I chose that to be my logo, and the king cobra exotic actually came from my YouTube channel. That's actually, I took that inspiration from my YouTube channel, my gaming personality, and that's really kind of how I came to be. And I think what kind of sealed the deal there was I thought about it in pro wrestling. I really don't know of any other king cobras. I don't. I know that there's always been the rattlesnake, which is, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the viper, Randy Orton. And I was just like, don't really think there's been a king cobra. I feel like I could do something different here, So that's kind of what led me to choose it, just my wrestling personality. Just bringing that over.
We're gonna get a fatal four between Jake the Snake Roberts, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Randy Orton, and you.
Oh man, that'd be fun. That'd be crazy. That would be insane.
It's not even King of the Ring, it's King of the Snakes.
King of the Snakes.
Before we ask our last question, y'all do have y'all's next AWP show, Aftermath, which is February 19th. You have a lot of matches announced, actually.
Yeah, we do have, I believe it's 5 matches. It's a pretty good sized card.
Yeah, Eric Shadows versus ASF. Culture Shock versus Born Haters, which I saw them at Inspire. They're pretty entertaining.
Oh yeah, they had me laughing.
You actually take on Daniel Ryan 1-on-1, and Nathan Bradley versus Max Heights for a title. And what I'm excited for is Jesse James is actually making his debut.
That one's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm excited to see Jesse James' debut. It's gonna be memorable. I'll say that.
A couple times at Hybrid, and I really like him. He's pretty dope.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been told a lot of great things about him, so I really can't wait to see what he brings to the table. I think I've worked only one show that I think he was on too. I think it might have been Galactic. But unfortunately, I was a talent, so I really didn't get a chance to watch his match. Especially pre-show, like I'm always like, oh, like I need to put on a good match. Like I'm always freaking out, But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. Heard a lot of good things about him.
He's actually, I think, a black belt that he just got. That's pretty dope.
That's insane. Like that's something I respect. And that's something I've even thought about doing too, getting into some type of martial arts, some type of, kickboxing or something. So that way I can bring what I learned there into the wrestling world in some way. I feel like that would definitely do wonders for, any pro wrestler, So I admire that. I feel like that's really cool. And I can't wait to see what he does. I can't wait to see what that moveset is.
Yeah.
And is that all the announced matches so far? You have any more tricks up your sleeve?
We might have something else to announce soon, but as of right now, that's all we've really announced so far. But we might add another. I'm still kind of thinking about it. I'm still kind of thinking about what I want to add.
Promoters don't show their hand yet.
Starting out there though, Alexander Crowley did get cleared.
Yeah, he did, and definitely can't wait to bring him back in. Definitely, I feel like that's one of the biggest things with us, kind of like what I talked about earlier, is we're really story driven. So I wouldn't want to bring him in unless I have something planned, But definitely we are in talks with him. Really great guy. And definitely his whole persona just fits AWP. It fits the theme of things. So we'll bring him back. We'll bring him back.
Stop twisting his arm. Stop. Our last question, we're down to our final question. Our last question is a real heartbreaking, heart-wrenching kind of question. Ooh, I went blank for a minute.
You got it?
I really did. Oh my god.
What's
What's the legacy that you want to leave behind in or outside of the wrestling ring?
The legacy I want to live. And that's actually a question that I love. I love that question. So thank you guys for asking me that, because that gives me a little bit of a few seconds to think about it. But legacy, I feel like, is very important, because at the end of my life, all there's going to be to remember me by is my legacy. What did I do? What do people remember me for? And if there's one thing I want people to remember me for, it's for my determination and for my strive to, make your dreams a reality. It's like I touched on it a little bit earlier, but when I first started in pro wrestling, I didn't necessarily have the full support of my family. They thought it was kind of a waste of money, for me to be paying 3,000, I think it was like 3,500 to get into Black and Brave. They didn't see how I can make a career out of it. They didn't, and this is not me knocking my family. This is just how they felt early on. I feel like a lot of parents are very cautious about, those types of investments, and they care about your future. So, at first they were very against it, and a lot of people, even friends, were kind of just like, why wrestling? Why wrestling? Like, that's not boxing. That's not MMA. You should do those things, not wrestling. And definitely had a lot of criticism there. And along the way, obviously, I ran into a lot of people, met a lot of people that kind of just doubted in my abilities, whether it was promoters or, just other people, that just had rude comments or whatever, just whatever. But although I had all those things happen and I've had a lot of criticism, I continued to strive for greatness. I just looked down, just kept my head up, kept fighting, kept proving them wrong. I feel like I've done a great job of doing that. I've worked for a lot more promotions, especially last year. I added about 4 or 5 different promotions to that list of new promotions I worked for. And a lot of them just keep bringing me back. So I feel like that's a really good place. It's a really good place to be at. And I would say if that's the legacy I want to leave behind, just that, anything's possible, and that no matter what circumstances or what obstacles life throws at you, you can definitely get it done. It's one of those things where if you believe in yourself, I'm a firm believer that anything's possible as long as you're putting in the work, as long as you're, fighting every single day, as long as you keep your eye on the prize, you'll get to where you want to be. And I'm just a firm believer of that. I've never believed that, something's not possible. I didn't think for a while, just to give a little example, I didn't think it was possible, to have a whole stadium cheering my name. It's happened already a few different times, especially in my debut. My debut was for a promotion out in Loveland, and the whole arena was like cheering my name. And I didn't know if that was even possible because people were telling me like, wrestling, you're not really going to get anywhere with that. And that was actually funny because it was actually the promoter that was telling me like, no, don't use that name. Like that doesn't make sense. Like, why are you doing that name? Like, it's not going to work. And then I go out there and then the whole arena is just like Cobra. I'm like, it sells, it works. Yeah. So moral of the story is I want to be remembered for, just my nonstop determination and my work ethic and, just making dreams a reality. I want people to be able to do the same. And that's why I go above and beyond for the kids when I'm able to, for my fans, for any and everyone. And I feel like, that's just what I want to leave, at least in the world, just a good heart and a good story.
That's good. I think Cobra will probably work now that Cobra Kai's out.
Oh man.
I actually have not seen Cobra Kai, so I'm gonna have to look
Yeah,
at it.
but like
I hear about it every other day, so I'm just like.
they're like
But thanks for being on, man. It was a great chat. If you want to plug all your social medias where everybody can find you, your YouTube and all that stuff.
Yeah, so on YouTube, if you guys want to follow like for gaming content, that would be Exotic on YouTube. We also have the Atlas Wrestling Promotion YouTube, Atlas Wrestling Promotion. On socials, you can find me at Elijah Exotic on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook, the King Cobra Exotic. And then for AWP, Atlas Wrestling on Instagram, Atlas Wrestling Promotion on Facebook. And if you guys want to see some great wrestling, come on out February 19th, Uvalde, Texas. Definitely worth the drive. I'll tell you guys that right now. We have a lot of people commuting for Aftermath after just going to one show. So, definitely I feel like we have something to bring to the table. And yeah, I think everyone should come check it out.
We'll be there. We'll make the 3-hour drive to go over there.
I'll tell you, man, you'll have a great time. I promise you.
This Saturday as well, catch them in San Antonio at the WrestleFest.
yes.
WrestleFest. Yes, I keep forgetting about WrestleFest. I shouldn't forget, or else I'm not gonna. I'm gonna get there like at 12:30. You're gonna
Like, oh,
at 12:30. Y'all gonna see me sliding through the ring and then running to the back. I'm like, oh, I forgot. But yes, WrestleFest too. That'll be a great time. Title match on the line for AWP.
damn. Bet.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all guys in the next one. Peace.